My baby's in the backseat, reading a magazine. I got royalty inside my DNA.
You don't think you got your validation?
I got royalty inside my DNA. I got war and peace, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA.
I want to rewrite history.
They were supposed to drop the Avengers 4 trailer on Wednesday, but then President Bush, number 41, died. And so they apparently did not,
Why?
You didn't hear that? Yeah.
Well, no, I mean...
Yeah, he died.
Our wimp president?
Yeah, our wimp president, our one-term wimp president, beloved by everyone, passed away. And so apparently they did not drop the new Avengers trailer because of that. They didn't want to be insensitive to that. Because the plan originally was to drop Captain Marvel trailer on Monday, and then do the Avengers 4 on Wednesday, and then do Spider-Man Far From Home on Friday. And
But I don't see why that has to do with George H.W. Bush dying. Why did they do that? Because
he's a president. He's an ex-president.
Because stuff shuts down. They shut down libraries and post offices when a president dies, and then it's a 2-day thing to mourn, and then they do a whole funeral.
No, I can't eye roll hard enough because I heard about it and I was like, good.
I would say good.
It's good, but it's just
I was like, it happens. He was 90 some years old.
Yeah,
and
it's
besides,
nobody really. It's a big deal. Because Dad, you're one of the 1,000 points, the brightest 1,000 point of light. It's that is the shittiest, cheesiest thing. That's what you say, to your dad.
Well, let's take a moment and introduce yourselves real quick. I'm Lauren Style. This is What We Into, our second episode.
And I'm Rob Karma Robinson.
And we have a guest here tonight, or maybe he'll be here for every episode, who knows.
I'm Joachim Boyle. As long as my child is asleep in the next room.
We also got baby Levon asleep in the next room.
Oh, say word?
Yeah, but he'll sleep through anything.
And he'll sleep through anything. He'll eat anything. Whatever. Okay, so that was...
Can I ask a question about the Avengers?
Yes.
So, he's gonna die. Captain America's gonna die?
Well...
or is he gonna just, go away? Because there's this whole storyline, right? You guys will know this so much better than I would. But there's a storyline, right, where he dies, and then Bucky takes over, and he's the new Captain America?
Kind of.
And there's some guy named, something is what is it? He's a sniper who kills him or something? And he kills somebody.
Oh, you're talking about okay. All right.
Oh wait, Hawkeye can be Captain America too.
Well, he has been. He was for a time.
He is going to be.
He was for a time. I think what you're conflating is one of the Marvel storylines from recent years, where in the most recent Marvel universe there are two Captain Americas because of the Tesseract. In fact, the power of the Tesseract gets broken and it changes reality in this way where Captain America doesn't fight in his initial creation. He's not Captain America. He fights for the Nazis. I don't know if you heard this was
Civil War.
No, this was when Captain America was Hydra.
Oh, Hydra, yeah.
When he goes everybody lost their minds when Captain America turned out he was a Hydra secret agent. And
nobody liked that.
No, a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, this is crazy." But as they started piecing that story out, what you come to find out is that reality has been altered, and this Captain America isn't actually our Captain America. He was created by the power of the Tesseract, and so our Captain America has to come back and sort of.
But they're not going to do that.
No, they can't. They can't. But it's interesting. How did you even get a hold of? How did you piece that together?
When I was a child, me and my brothers used to make Captain America movies, and I was Captain America.
I can see that.
But I wasn't blonde, so the continuity was way off. But I just want to know, is he gonna die? Was Captain America is Iron Man in the last movie? I think the whole he's gonna save everybody.
I think the likelihood of
Doctor
him
Strange
dying
knew it. And that's why he was kind of being a dick.
I think the likelihood of Captain America dying is less likely. I think the likelihood of Tony Stark's character dying is more likely.
But we know that what's his name is done.
That's what he said.
Movies.
But that's what he said. But I was just reading this article this week where some studio exec was like, "Oh, Chris Evans isn't done playing Captain America."
Oh, so he's just playing with our.
Yeah, I think it was one of those like he wanted to be like, okay, I'm done playing Captain America, and then when the reveal happens that, oh yeah, we're doing the Captain America.
He did this
movie.
emotional tweet like, oh, so good.
Yeah, whatever.
Goodbye.
Well, this is the same guy who played Johnny Storm, and we never even
Johnny
talk about it. We're like, oh yeah,
Nobody
he gets
talks
two
about
Marvel properties in the same universe, and we're just
nobody wants to remember the Fantastic Four movie.
you know, you're right, but I like that first movie.
It could also be like a
with the commish.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Force Ghost situation where like Captain America dies, but he comes back for like flashbacks or comes back. You know, that sort of thing. So it's not necessarily that he's. I don't know. I would be unhappy if nobody dies in this Avengers. If everybody comes back, you know.
Well, they all come back.
They all come back.
Did we have that Stranger Things talk on the first episode where I was talking about how nobody dies, and that's why Stranger Things 2 wasn't as good as the first season?
No, I don't think we talked.
Oh, we haven't? No. Okay, well, we should get into that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of reasons Stranger Things the second season is not as good as the first. It's something that, in a nutshell, they realize, oh my god, we can make 1,000 of these series because this is hugely popular. So let's span it out. Let's put some filler into it. I enjoyed it, but still at the same time, like it's not as good as the first season.
I wanted to enjoy it, but nobody paid the consequences in that second season, and I was like, if you're going to be a success, if this is going to continue to be successful, somebody has to pay the consequences for ripping a hole in the fabric of space and time and letting in a monster. And nobody did. Everybody went to the dance at the end of that season. I was like, what?
Did the nerd girl in the first one? She's just gone.
And they didn't even look for her.
That's pretty cool.
Barbara doesn't. Yeah,
I like that.
I actually like it.
I hope she never. If she comes back.
Oh well, no.
Like I don't know the show
She's
very
dead.
well.
She's
dead and it's gone.
She's hella dead.
That's
Barb?
Shit,
and they didn't.
Congratulations.
Like they looked for her for all of like 30 seconds. They were like, "Oh, Barb's missing," and then they spent like maybe an episode looking for her, and then she was just gone.
All right, so we got some news to set up too. Let's think what's worth the damn here. G.I. Joe, there's a new spin-off movie. Snake Eyes. I know, Joe, you personally loved the G.I. Joe movies. They were a reflection of your childhood.
Is that true?
No. Piece of shit movies.
I will say, G.I. Joe and Storm Shadow are the only thing good about either one of those two movies.
Is a character that doesn't speak?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here!
They can use any actor they want now because he wore a mask through the entire thing. They're not going to use the kid.
I feel like it's a corny cop out to garner more of our dollars, because those first two movies were. They were pocket rakers. They wanted to dig in our pockets because they knew that we had been waiting for a G.I. Joe movie for the better part of 30 years.
That's right. True or false? They're making a Batman spin-off featuring and starring a young Alfred Pennyworth called
False.
Pennyworth.
No, that's true. I actually did hear about this.
I'd say false.
It's true.
Pennyworth is too much like Pennywise.
It's true.
It's true. I think I did randomly hear about this, like maybe at Comic-Con or something.
Yeah.
Is it Jude Law?
No, it's younger than that.
Oh,
yeah.
It's
yeah.
Okay.
In the same way that I don't really mess with Gotham at all, I think it's going to be along those lines.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
they're gonna play with the canon and do some interesting things, but it's all going to amount to being a shit show.
And Chris Nolan is going to executive produce.
I hope not.
The big piece of news, though, this week was that they canceled Daredevil. Mm-hmm. Which my general thought is, because so far they've canceled Luke Cage,
yep,
Daredevil,
Iron Fist,
and Iron Fist. Why are they trickling it out one by one, as opposed to just being like, all these Marvel properties are canceled because now Disney has Disney Plus, and all this stuff's going to go over there,
right,
presumably.
Right.
Not these shows. I don't think these shows will end up on that platform.
Really?
Yeah. Too dark, I think.
Really? Oh, well, yeah, you might have a point. I was actually reading an article about the Marvel Daredevil going away, and where one of the writers or something said something to the effect of, I just thought it was too big to fail or something. Yes. Like a Goldman Sachs ass term. I was like, what? Too big to fail? That's that privilege.
I think after the first season it was, because the first season was huge. Well, everybody was talking about it.
Well, it kind of jumped off a lot of those other Marvel series on Netflix. It was Daredevil, I think, was the first one, and then Luke Cage, and then Jessica Jones, and then Luke Cage, and then Iron Fist.
They get repetitive really quick. Did you watch them, Joe?
No.
Did you watch any of those seasons?
I think they were all. I think they were all leading up to the Defenders. It was all. They made all 4 of those shows just to make the Defenders.
Is Jessica Jones still on?
They went 2 seasons. I think it's still.
Yeah, they haven't
canceled it yet.
But it seems like that's the next thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing left. It's the only thing left.
It would be so awkward if you're watching Jessica Jones and like something's happening and she like needs help and she's like, if only I had somebody like, I don't know, to call right now.
Wait, so what about the age? Let me just see. What about that agent? That Carter. What about long gone? What about the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Gone like this last year. It had its final season.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of those.
I did. I watched them all.
I watched the first season of Daredevil. Really liked it.
Even that new one. They did the Inhumans.
Yeah.
They did the Inhumans, and it was.
Yeah, that was apparently the worst.
Right? It was absolutely trash. They filmed it in Hawaii, like this really exotic setting. They spent all this money on like the CGI to get like lockjaw, like they have a CGI dog that's a part of this family or whatever. And they spent all this money to make in location and CGI, and the script was just shitty.
It's about Hawaii and the moon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I heard.
Now, the Inhumans as a property is one of the doper ones that Marvel has had for a while. Black Bolt, this guy who's so powerful, like he basically cannot speak because his slightest whisper could shatter a mountain or crack the moon or something like this. Like he's one of the more powerful.
Mutants.
I don't. He's not a mutant. He's a human being that's been. He's a human being that's been altered by the. It's one of those alien races, not the blue ones or the other ones.
The Skrulls.
Skrull. No, it's the Skrulls.
There's Kree and the Skrulls.
Okay, then it was the Kree. The Kree in ancient times came to Earth and seeded their DNA with human DNA, and so like humans now who have extraordinary powers are basically descendants of the Kree and human hybrids.
Yeah. Seeded, you say.
Black Lightning is canceled?
No, and that's.
See, I'd be interested in seeing that.
No, that's a DC property.
Oh, you guys are all anti-DC in this.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I'm not even anti-DC. No. I'm anti-Black Lightning because that show is trash. But there's a lot. DC has done a lot of great. Like what DC has done over the last few seasons is a lot of their properties commingle and cross over. Like in the last few years, was it Supergirl, Arrow, Flash. Legends of Tomorrow, they all have at some point in their seasons crossed over and had all these characters on one show, or they've had one timeline or one theme that each one of these shows has an episode that addresses.
Yeah. Dolph Lundgren, we're going to talk about Creed 2 here in a little bit, but Dolph Lundgren was in an Arrow episode.
Yeah, he was. He was in a few Arrow episodes. Yeah. He plays like this villain that helps.
Which I didn't watch because I don't watch that show. I watched the first 2 seasons.
It's probably because in the same way that Daredevil sort of jumped off the rest of those Marvel properties, Arrow was kind of the jumping off for everything else. The Supergirl used to be on CBS, and they moved it from CBS to the WB so it could be in that Arrow universe.
The WB.
Yeah.
Does it go back to the WB again?
No, it's the CW.
Have you seen any of those shows, Joe, at all?
No, I mean, my brother. I remember when the Flash came out, like in like the early '90s.
The old one,
which by the way, the guy who played the Flash is his
dad in this one. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I thought that was a good.
I always remember this line. If there's one thing I told you boys, never fire a gun without a bullet in the chamber. And the Flash goes, I have the bullet. I always remember that line.
Wow.
Why would you fire a gun without a bullet?
Wow. You don't. You have to know. It's like fatherly advice from M. Emmett Walsh, who played the Flash's dad.
That's terrible.
But what
that's real meta. That's meta.
Hey. What they do is they bring these characters. I mean, you guys grew up, I'm sure, with these like superheroes. It's Batman, Superman. I mean, is Firestorm around? I know, that's what I'm saying. But it's like Firestorm around?
Yes, he's one of the Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah. So they bring all these kind of like supporting like superpower guys, and they kind of mush them all together. Did that with Marvel too, just because they're like they can't really hold it on their own. You know, like Iron Fist. I mean, he's white.
Yeah.
Like
it comes down to the writing. Like I tried to watch the second season of Jessica Jones and made through most of it, but it didn't hold me because the villain for the first Jessica Jones was so
compelling. Yeah.
Long story short, Joe, it features a villain that he has a power of suggestion, and so whatever he tells you to do, you have to do.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I like that.
Okay, so anyways, let's move on. A few more movie news. Charlie Kaufman's got a new movie called I'm Thinking of Ending Things, based off a book by Ian Reed. I don't know anything about that, but it's Charlie Kaufman. That's awesome.
Yeah.
They're apparently going to make a Quiet Place 2, which Emily Blunt says is not really a sequel. It's more like a book, but that's kind of exactly what a sequel is, right? It's more like, you know how books have like another book?
Yeah.
But isn't that the second book in the series?
A sequel?
A sequel? Anyways,
Stop being coy, Emily.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Leave her alone.
Preacher was renewed for a 4th season.
Really? Now that's a property I haven't gotten into.
It's good.
Is
I
it?
watched the first season with Laurel, and she read all the comics.
I'm trying to read the comics again because I read the comics in the the late '90s. The comics are great.
Yeah.
I haven't finished them yet, so I haven't started the series.
It's good. Yeah. Another show that she likes is American Gods,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently that's going to get a 2nd season coming in March.
It deserves one.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to see Aquaman? Be honest.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to.
You are?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
Have to?
Yeah.
Because of this podcast, we'll definitely have to.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to.
Oh, yeah. I think you guys
Why?
Great time.
It looks like...
Oh, looks like that guy. I'm sorry, Jason Momoa. Whoa. He's so bad. He was like in Justice League for about 5 seconds. I was just like, hey, it's so stupid. Trying to be this idiot. Like, I get it. You know, like they're trying to make him cool. You can't make Aquaman cool. You can't do it.
Wait, are you going to argue that you can? Please. Please be the devil's advocate to make this a thing.
I think if you embrace the fact that he's not cool, then it can be cool.
That is no, stop it. That's some shit your dad says.
It was a reverse effect. With Thor, he had long hair, wasn't very cool. They cut off his hair, give him an eye patch, he's cool. This one is short, blonde hair Aquaman, has now dark hair that's long, and they're going to think that that's going to make Aquaman cool.
That's a good point. So all they got to do is in the sequel, give him a haircut.
Exactly, and an eye patch.
Yeah. But Thor's a lot funnier as he progresses through the movies. Like The Dark World is the worst
because they
Thor
lean.
movie.
I think because they lean into how like airheady kind of Thor is as a character.
Yes.
They lean into that, and because they lean into that, you enjoy those movies because you're like, he's a hapless idiot, but he's impervious to almost everything.
Yeah. Okay, well, what else do I got here? You got any video game news?
I have gone down the rabbit hole this week with the December free games from the PlayStation Network. One of them was Yakuza. I forget the title, but if you haven't played those games, they're addicting. It's amazing story, but the gameplay is kind of like, I don't know if did you ever play like Tekken back in the day? You know how they had one of those modes in Tekken where you had to like run up. Like the way that Mortal Kombat had like those tiers, and you had to go through the levels. Anyway,
I don't remember any of that, but
Okay.
I've always wanted to play the Yakuza games.
It's the writing is good. The gameplay is a little monotonous. As far as like the missions that you can do, the type of missions you can do are pretty stagnant and stale. But the writing is stellar. The characters are great, and I think as far as like an accurate portrayal of like, Japanese gang culture, whoever is doing it did it right. They sourced their material really well because it's good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's free, so maybe not. I will
Yeah,
play
definitely worth that.
There was a Far Cry 6 was announced, which is like I never played any of the Far Cry's.
If you played any of them, you played them all. They haven't changed their mode or how they've been doing things since the first one. I feel like.
Yeah. But not much else, right?
Red Dead Redemption Online.
You tried to get me in.
I was trying to get you to play with me the other night because I wanted you to kind of like. I actually did find a way to farm your levels a little bit.
Okay.
Like you can advance levels pretty quickly if you do a certain mission a certain way. It allows you to build your levels pretty quickly.
So now that you've played it, what is your general short feelings on the online component?
It's a solid base for them to build on.
Yeah.
It's a little broken right now because they haven't figured out the economy and a way to just be there without having to garner people just running up and shooting you. Because that's kind of rampant. Like because there isn't enough to do online yet. A lot of players online have taken to just harassing each other. So like I'll be like if you're on there and you're just farming or whatever your case is, because there isn't a whole lot to do. People just ride up in 2s and 3s and gangs and just like drag you behind a horse because they can.
So there's no, because last week we talked about Fallout 76
having
and
that
in order to,
pacifism mode.
Yeah, in order to...
They don't have one yet. They don't have a pacifism mode. They don't have a way of being like, hey, so asshole.
You'll get fucked with if you play.
You'll definitely get fucked with.
Okay.
Like for me, when I play a lot of times online, I try to stay away from groups or town centers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually off in the wilderness, ways off, so like I can see people coming and dip out. It's almost like being in the Wild West for real.
For real, right? You're not just gonna walk up.
You're not just gonna walk up to someone and be like, "Hey, buddy," because
somebody's gonna shoot you in the face.
Yeah. Like I was playing the other night, and a guy that was like 20 levels above me rode up into my camp and pulled out his guns. And your camp is the only place that you're actually safe, unless you because you can fly your flag in your camp. That's the only safe space. That and going into buildings.
So that means he couldn't shoot you.
He couldn't shoot me, but he rolled into my camp, and I knew he was levels above me because he pulled out 2 guns.
Ooh.
And you can't
fancy
to access the second gun. You have to be like, I don't know, level 50 or something dumb already.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
okay.
And until they find a way to sort of
sounds like this guy's just showing off.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, he put it in my face like, look at what I got. And I was like, that's cool, but
cool. Nice
I got in my camp, bro.
Why are you in my camp?
Why are you here right now?
Man.
And I'm out in the sticks. What are you doing out here?
Okay, we talked a little bit about this last week, but I hadn't seen it, but I did see it this week with Laurel, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Yeah, a boy. And what do you think?
I liked it a lot, yeah. Joe? Joe loved it.
Oh, man. I could go on forever about
Please.
this. The person that we do know in it is Bill Heck, and I got to tell you, that's the best story.
Yeah, I agree.
I think.
Who do we know? We know Bill Heck.
Bill Heck, yeah.
He was the story that he was in was The Gal Who Got Rattled.
Yeah. That's the title of it?
Yep.
Well, I mean, he was great, but of course, like, the ending of that is definitely the best part of it, which I'm not going to give anything away. And Zoe Kazan's in it, who I really like Zoe Kazan. She's, like, one of the 2 women that's in the whole movie.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, that and Tyne Daly.
Yeah. What was your favorite story?
That one. I think that one was the best.
That one and the gold one.
I mean, but the
Prospector.
The thing that's starting to bug me with these guys. First of all,
hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Let's do this because we're gonna spoil some stuff here. So if you have not seen the Ballad of Buster Scruggs yet, just
skip ahead.
Skip ahead from this. And spoilers for a couple things coming up. And I'll try to be good about it and try to announce that. But just so you know, we're going to spoil the crap out of these things. And why are you listening to this commentary if you don't want things to be spoiled? Anyways, go forth, Joe.
I'm not going to spoil. I won't say any specifics. But the thing about the Coen brothers that they've done recently is they had this thing, and they did it really well with No Country for Old Men, was where the bad guy wins or the good guy is killed off. And it's like, oh, shit. Yeah, the good guy got killed. That's not normal. That's not like a regular thing that happens. I want to be satisfied at the end of this, and they kind of leave you with that feeling, and it's an interesting emotional.
Being unsatisfied?
Yeah, no, not of being unsatisfied. It's just being like the surprise of this thing that you're used to seeing.
They're like bucking convention.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that they just kind of just liked it a little bit too much, and they're just like that. It's just everything now. It's just like, oh. They're
in the same way that M. Night used to do it, because M. Night made his bones doing that sort of like, I'm gonna go left.
No, M. Night got M. Night got his bones from just having a twist ending. That's what M. Night is. No, I think just with this, it's like they don't know what they are. Are they they have like a little bit of stuff. It's kind of like Quentin Tarantino with the splashiness of blood and the gratuitous violence.
You're talking about
and
style.
The humor
this is
in
style that they have.
Yeah, but it was just like, I guess now it's just like more of this like gratuitous kind of like blood, like deaths are. It's more of like a joke rather than.
Well, definitely the first little vignette.
But pretty much, if you think about it, though, even like in all of them, not in all of them, but the idea of death. Mm-hmm. Is like, and once again, like in No Country for Old Men, that's not really the case. It's not. But this one is just. It just felt goofy, and so like everything was a little goofy to me.
Right,
I agree, but I think that's their kind of. They did the Lady Killers too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think what you're talking about, Joe, is kind of their style. No. But it was actually, I think, my favorite of theirs. Yeah. I like The Lady Killers better than I think I liked any of the
I liked it too.
Really?
That was Marlon Wayans, right?
Yeah, Marlon Wayans and Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
And,
oh man, I haven't seen that since the theater.
The cast is so, like, you wouldn't think these disparate actors would be in a film together. And then the actual film is great. Like, I don't know. I thought it was. It's my favorite.
You weren't bored during the Scruggs thing? It's kind of boring.
I agree with both of you, okay? Because I agree with Rob that is definitely Raising Arizona. They have this comedy thread that runs through all of their stuff.
No, I know.
And then they don't normally mix the two movies together. Because I think in the Bill Heck one, the gal who got rattled, that's a very serious, straightforward story, right? Yeah. Whereas some of like the other ones with James Franco, Pan Shot, there's things that are comedy about it. He looks over at the guy and they're about to be hanged, and he's like, "Oh, it's your first time." Those kind of jokes. But I think it's having them sort of mashed up. They don't often do them in the same movie.
Right?
And so I think when they're having these couple different stories, or 6 different
and I feel
stories,
like it's one of the first.
They're mixing it all together. So you're getting one story that's serious, and you're getting one story that's comedy, and so that.
And this is a first for them, right? As far as like doing a movie that has all these disparate structure. Yeah, like the structure wise.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seemed.
Yeah.
It just seemed like they had Netflix gave them a shit ton of money, and they had fun. They were just like, hey, we have all these ideas. Let's put them all together. It's just, I don't know. It's just.
So bottom line, did it work for you or did it not?
It did not.
Yeah. They've been writing it for a long time, but I think they had a lot of these, because any one of these stories could have been a
full-length movie. Yeah.
And I think they were like, shit, we got 7 different movies we need to make. Let's just put them all into one movie and make each one like 20 minutes long.
I kind of liked the idea of what they were doing because it felt a little vaudevillian.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I think that had to do with the time period that they were showing us.
Right.
When vaudeville was at its kind of zenith or whatever. But it felt kind of like if I'd gone into a theater and I was watching like a series of vaudevillian acts. That's what it kind of felt like.
Yeah.
And I think because I went to it in that kind of theater way, I liked it overall. But I hear and agree with what Joe's saying. I think it was kind of like we're doing it for the sake of it.
Speaking of slight vaudeville, what I did last night as I played Red Dead Redemption, not the online because I still haven't downloaded it yet. But I went to one of the theaters in St. Denis or St. Denis or however you pronounce it. Yeah. And they showed a little movie about the bear and the long winter, and it was you sit there for like 3 or 4 minutes, right, and they show you a little story and as your character sitting in the theater. And I just was like, wow, what an awesome waste of time this was.
Right. Well, I mean, if you think about like 1890, 1880, whatever this time period was, like the little distraction like that versus like the smells of the like I was.
Because the thing that you watch is not really a film. It's like projected slides,
right,
video game slides on a wall. But that's what they really watched back then. That's the best they got as entertainment.
That was the height of entertainment.
And in a recorded voice saying, "Oh, the bear's hungry. The bear's sad. He eats his friends. Yada yada yada." Yeah. So interesting. When I was watching the Bill Heck one, and he plays a character called Billy Knapp. Mm-hmm. And that's how you pronounce it, right?
Yes.
Billy, Knapp.
Knapp.
And so there's the moment where they have the dog. Once again, spoilers. They have the dog, and the dog's not hers. It's not Zoe Kazan's. And he's like, people have been complaining. She's like, it's not my dog. And he's like, oh, if you'd like, I can take it and I can shoot it.
Yeah.
Right? So he takes it over the hill, right?
And you hear
him shoot the gun. You're like, oh wow. Then he shoots twice more. Pop.
Come back.
And then he comes back, and he's like, listen, the dog, it got away. It ran out of the way. And so for a moment for me, before I got to the end of it, I thought, oh, he did shoot the dog, but he doesn't want her to feel bad, so he lied about it. Mm. But then the dog came back at the end, right? And that ends up being her whole downfall. And sidebar, there's the James Franco story where the guy runs out with the pans attached to him, and every time a bullet bounces off, he yells, "Pan shot!" Right? And then in this one, every time one of the Indian horses falls into Native American horses falls into the hole, he goes, "Dog hole!
Dog hole!
Dog hole!" Lots of 2-word things in this.
I love that bit. That was awesome.
But so then I started thinking, okay, well, we know Bill Heck. We went to school with him. What's like a decent question that I can ask him? And
I didn't realize Bill was such a horse ridey dude.
I know, I should have asked him about that. Did you learn to ride
horses? Yo, where did you learn about horses like that, bruh?
He's fantastic. And so let me find the question that I asked him, and I'll just phrase it perfectly, and I'll give you his answer because he got back to me. So I say, so the question, did your character actually try to shoot the dog, and he was truthful about it slipping away, or did he let it go and as an act of mercy, and then lied to the girl about killing the pet or trying to kill the pet? Which is kind of a dumb question, because why would he do that? He'd just say, I let it go. Anyways, so Bill's answer, and he's a very good sport about it, he says, definitely tried to shoot the dog. Billy Knapp is a practical man, been trail busting for 15 years, trapper for the Army, years before that, according to some cut dialogue. He takes care of what needs taken care of. That said, he didn't necessarily relish the task. Maybe something inside him didn't aim as carefully as he could have, and maybe he wasn't entirely disappointed when the critter skittered off. But he still would consider it a failed job and would certainly never lie about his intentions or actions. It's a hard scrabble world, the frontier. Gotta do what needs doing.
Look at that movie star answer. I see
right?
you, Bill.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome.
So it's perfect. And I said, give me any other insight about the production, anything that you want. And I said, what's the horse's name? The horse's name was T. And then he gave me one other little tidbit, and this is, quote, we shot most of our story on 2 adjacent castle ranches in western Nebraska, about 35,000 acres apiece.
Wow,
that's a lot.
That's huge.
When they were scouting, they approached this rancher and said some filmmakers named the Coens would like to shoot on his land if he was willing. Dude turned out to be a huge Coen fan. His family, a little pocket of progressives in a very red area. Everyone out there was lovely. The boy walking backward in the film, whose father canes him and tells him to stop, that's the rancher and his kid.
Cool. So, that's cool.
Thanks a lot to Bill Heck for the little insight.
Yeah, boy, that.
That's what we into exclusive.
Whoop, whoop.
And yeah, so that's
awesome.
Ballad of Billy Scruggs.
That's awesome.
I
liked it.
Rob liked it. Joe loved it. And let's go on. So I saw
Dog hole.
The main thing that I did, which I was hoping you'd get out to, but anyways,
I didn't get to.
Why didn't you make it to Creed 2?
I got loyalty inside my DNA.
Well,
oh, you did it.
I didn't make it to Creed 2. And here's the thing. I went from watching movies every week in grad school. Every week I would go to the theater, spend money, and watch a movie.
Nice.
Having moved to New York, it's not financially sound anymore to just go to a movie every week. And I don't know, did you do Movie Pass or something? Did you get it as a gift or something?
My sister got me a month of Movie Pass last year for my birthday or Christmas.
Shout out to that girl, Shar. Whoop, whoop.
Because what happens to me, and this is why, for the listeners, we were supposed to go on a Tuesday. We're like, let's go see Creed on Tuesday.
And I would have definitely gone and spent my money with you in the theater because you're my boy and I love doing that. Back in we used to go to movies together, all three of us.
But what happened is that they don't start showing any of the movies until like 12:30.
And you got kids to pick up later.
And I got kids to pick up from school at 2:45, and so there was no way I could make it to the movie theater, see the movie, and come back.
And I was working.
Because what would have happened is they'd do 15 minutes of previews, the movie would have started, and right at the climax, that's when I would have had to go, and then you would have had to tell me. So
what happened? Right.
So what I realized was, there's one showing that starts at 11:40
at the Alamo.
At the Alamo, which is expensive. So it was like $17, $18 for the ticket, and then of course I ate a bunch of food.
So this is why I didn't go see Creed, because in New York, the average ticket price, if you're going like when normal people go, not like your what do they call it, matinee feature, ticket price, you're going to pay somewhere close to $20.
Yeah.
Somewhere close.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't want to pay $20 to see a movie that in a few weeks I can catch on bootleg for a third of that. And I know how that sounds. I know how that sounds.
No, I understand.
But just $20 is a lot.
It
like
is
I used to see 3 movies for the price of that.
And what if the movie sucks?
Right.
Yeah.
What if you pay $20 to go see Two Guns?
And you're not even paying just $20 because you have to pay to get on the train, so that's $5 coming too. So I mean, to go and see a movie in New York, you're running somewhere in the neighborhood of almost $30.
What real quick? What's your most disappointed movie experience in the last
Ooh.
Ever? Theater.
Wow.
Real quick, though, off the top of your head, I know mine
It
immediately.
Mine, it was Gladiator.
Gladiator. That was the most disappointing.
That was the most disappointing. I fell asleep.
Russell Crowe in Gladiator?
That movie, I mean, we should save this for another episode because I could get on the soapbox about that movie. I like the fact that, and the fact that he won the Oscar for it that year too. Like, smash a glass on the ground.
Did that get Best Picture too?
You've had a good.
I don't know if it was Best Picture, but he definitely won Best Actor.
Yeah, he did.
Joe, most disappointing movie ever. At a movie theater.
I can tell you. I'll tell you.
Also Gladiator.
It was at Kips Bay, and it was the movie The Happening with Mark Wahlberg and Night Shyamalan. And I'll tell you what happened. Halfway through, I was kind of high. I was like, "What is this good?" And I was like, "This is dumb and horrible." I leave the theater, and the person's like, "You've already watched half of the movie. It says on the back of this ticket that I can get my movie back if I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied." And the person was about to start a fight with me, and then she was just like, I saw it too. It wasn't good. She was giving me my fucking money back. I think we all know someone in that one too.
Yes. We know someone in that one too.
Yeah, we know Kristen Connolly. Yeah, and so long story short, I ended up. Kristen Connolly's also, she's a good actress. She's in Cabin in the Woods, which I've not seen.
Which is awesome.
That's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And she was in Cabin in the Woods. She did that series with Adrian Brody about the magician.
I want to say Merlin.
It's Houdini.
It's Houdini. Yeah.
It's like the most famous magician.
He said Merlin.
Oh, well, who's that?
Merlin.
Houdini.
That's a cat that's got 2 kids. That in the game right there. That's what
right.
that is.
I don't know if this happened to you, Joe. I start saying everything wrong. I'm like, time to go to ballet. They're like, it's gymnastics, Dad. I'm like, all right, get your skirts. It's a leotard, Dad. My most disappointing movie of all time, easily Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
You went and saw that in the theater?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Opening day, like before.
Well, okay, I understand why.
It was going to be bad.
I understand why, because it was that Indiana Jones movie that we had been waiting on as fans, in the same way that Force Awakens, like one of these Star Wars like movies that we hadn't seen in a while, we wanted to see. I can understand being there on opening day and not understanding that it was going to be a travesty on the film.
Shia LaBeouf. I knew you were going to hate that.
I trusted Spielberg.
I did too.
I didn't exactly trust George Lucas.
I didn't. I know.
But I did not realize. But I assumed that Spielberg would be like, George, listen, no, we can't do that, and it would work.
No,
but it didn't.
They did
ended
not.
Making Indiana Jones 5.
We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
I am not.
Yeah, I will not see it in the theater.
I'm not
unless it gets.
You are. You saw
definitely
Solo.
Solo was good.
Yeah.
I'll say Solo.
What? Wait. No. Well. I mean, Joe's giving the
Listen, if I want to see a young Han Solo, I'll watch A New Hope again, okay? Because he was fucking young then.
I'll watch Regarding.
Oh, is this guy Harrison Ford? No. He shot Greedo. We know, okay? Thanks.
It was all right.
I know.
It was better than what was that second Jedi movie that came out that year? We talked about
Rogue
One.
Yes.
Because you were over here, you were over at my place, and you got wasted, and then you decided to go see the movies with Janet.
That's
and then
true.
you're like, oh yeah, and I fell asleep.
Yeah, I totally fell asleep on it. It wasn't very good.
Do you guys want to know the trailers for Creed 2?
Sure.
So the first one was really cool, because it was Long Kiss Goodnight, written by Shane Black.
Wait, what? You mean the one with...
Who's the director of Long Kiss Goodnight?
Rennie?
Is it Rennie or
Is it Rennie Harlan?
Harlan, yeah, Harlan, exactly.
They're making another one?
He did Die Hard too.
No, but they're showing it at the Alamo on December 10th.
Oh, cool.
Which is, I like that movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah,
Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson.
Cutthroat Island?
I like Cutthroat Island.
You like Cutthroat Island?
Yes, I do.
You are the one person in this...
I like it.
One person who likes Cutthroat Island. That ended Rennie Harlan's career.
The next preview trailer was Vice, starring Christian Bale as Dick Cheney, Sam Rockwell as George Bush, Amy Adams as someone else I don't remember. It looks good.
Biopic.
Yeah,
Christian Bale scares me with how fat he is in this movie. Like they show you a shot of him from the side, and he's so freaking fat. And it's just scary. Next trailer they showed was Glass.
I'm excited about that.
They call me Mr. Glass.
I'm excited about that.
Which do you think is a better movie, Unbreakable or Split?
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable, man.
Did you see Split?
I did.
I just watched the end so I could see Bruce Willis.
Yeah. You didn't see, yeah.
No, I know about it. I don't like that James McAvoy. I gotta tell you.
You don't like James McAvoy?
I think it was because of that movie Wanted, where he goes, "What the fuck did you do with your life?"
That movie's,
Okay,
prick.
Okay, Wanted with him in it is a bit much, but I liked Wanted as a film. I did.
Right, whatever.
Next trailer they showed was Spider-Verse, which we won't talk about because we'll eventually see it and review it. Then they showed RBG, the Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yeah, that looks fine. Then they showed Fighting with My Family, which was directed and maybe possibly written by Stephen Merchant, the guy from The Office, right? It's about wrestling, and it looked actually really good.
What about wrestling?
The trailer was Fighting with My Family.
Professional wrestling?
Yeah, I think it's about the female wrestler. I don't know any of the wrestling, so who knows? But it looked pretty good actually. It's got the guy from what's all the Shaun of the Dead, not Simon Pegg, but the other dude.
Nick something.
Yeah, Nick something. Yeah. So I was just so excited to be at the movies at like 12 o'clock on a Tuesday that everything about Creed 2. Like I pretty much for the most part loved. I've given it some thought afterwards, and it's not perfect, but it's a very, very good Rocky movie.
Okay. Every Rocky movie has basically the same formula.
Yes.
Is this a continuation of a long series of the same movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this is a continuation. I mean, it's Rocky 8 presumably.
Okay, and going back to what we had talked about a little bit about this last week, where. Do you think it's about time to wrap on the Rocky films?
No.
You think they should continue to make them?
I think it's time for Rocky to die.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But do you think we should still make Rocky films once their characters dead?
Maybe he does die in this movie. We'll get the spoilers here in a second. He could potentially just die in the first 10 minutes. But
ostensibly in that first movie, he was diagnosed with
cancer.
Cancer.
Yeah.
So
he really should have died in Creed. Let's be honest. Yeah.
I think it would have been as poignant as when Mick dies in what was it, Rocky 2? No, 3.
3, yes.
Yeah.
So before we go into the synopsis of Creed 2, what did you think it was about? Just judging from the trailers.
Well, it obviously was it was a revenge movie.
Yeah.
It was this guy's dad killed my dad, and I have unresolved issues with my own father. So in order to honor him in this weird fighter way, I'm going to challenge this guy's son, and bolster my own belief system about my dad's stuff by fighting him in this way.
Right. His dad in the first movie, which he didn't care about and never.
Right.
Apollo Creed never cared about.
Never cared about
anyways.
Right. So
okay. All right.
Am I? I mean, I haven't seen it, but am I pegging?
That's pretty much it, except it's slightly switched. Instead of really Creed seeking out Ivan Drago
seeks him out.
Yeah.
Right, because he's the champion now.
Yeah, and really there's a promoter that finds Ivan Drago and Victor Drago in the Ukraine. They're in the Ukraine now, and gets the whole ball rolling. Joe, did you see the preview for Creed 2?
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. Yeah.
What did you think it was about? Anything you want to talk about?
It's daddy issues, I'm sure.
Daddy issues. Which is Rocky's.
You know what I mean?
Rocky's.
Yeah, and I mean, I totally think Stallone died. I haven't seen it either, but I totally think Stallone dies. If he doesn't, it's wrong. He should die. If he did, it was just like that. The Force Awakens. If Harrison Ford lived through that movie, it would have been like people would have been bitching about it on the internet. Like, he should have died. And granted, I'm sorry to go off base here, but he should have died in more of a blaze of glory. But whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks good. I love Rocky movies. They always get you right at the end. It's just like. It's like, yeah, I can do it. You get beat down, and then there's the music. The Bill Conti theme comes in. Does it?
In this, yes. Briefly,
yeah, good.
Yeah.
And once that comes in, there's no way that you can't feel rejuvenated and feel like you can get shit done
Even when you lose.
Even when he loses in the first one. I've got a great story very quickly. There's this guy I know named John Walsh, and he was this huge smoker. He smoked 2 packs a day. This was way back in the day. And it was one day, and this was when the original Rocky came out. He went to go see Rocky by himself. He went outside, lit up a cigarette, and looked at it, and he was just like, I'm better than you. Threw out a cigarette, and he didn't smoke another cigarette for the rest of his life.
Nice. Ouch.
He's still alive.
After seeing Rocky?
After Rocky.
Did he smoke cigarettes after he died?
He didn't die. He's still alive. All right.
Point
is, that's what's great about Rocky. It's the underdog.
See,
you know?
Wait, hold on. Favorite Rocky movie?
Favorite Rocky movie? Okay.
Not the best. Favorite. Because the best is the first one. Everyone knows that. Favorite Rocky movie.
I'd say the first one.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. It's great.
It is good.
If you asked me this like in like 1990, I would have told you Rocky 4, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But now like that, I like revisited recently, and it was just like, and I knew like how hard it was to make that movie, and Stallone's personal story, how he got that, like through all the shit he was going through. It's pretty amazing.
Favorite movie? Yeah. Oh, Baby Levon's waking up too. Baby Levon, what's your favorite Rocky? No, he's not gonna answer. Rob, what's your favorite Rocky?
Mine would have to be Rocky 3.
Rocky 3?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think it's the best? You better not.
No. It's not the best.
Yeah.
But it is my favorite.
Okay, why?
Well, two reasons. It's the one where Mick dies.
Yes.
And that's kick you in the chest like feels. And Mr. T.
Yeah, Mr. T.
So, and that I think this is a good place to sort of jump into the question you asked me the other night about whether or not these movies are racist.
I'm gonna pause you there real quick, Rob. Levon just woke up, so we're gonna say bye to Levon. Bye, Levon.
You say goodbye.
Bye to Joe. Bye, Joe.
Bye, guys.
Later, dude.
Thanks so much for coming, man.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. So before we go into the Rocky racist thing, I want to just briefly get into Creed 2 here in the moment when that thought really occurred to me. So the movie opens up, and spoilers from this point on, because I'm not going to be good at not telling spoilers. So just spoilers. If you want to see Creed 2, skip ahead to the end of this when we get to comments. Yeah, so the movie opens up in the Ukraine, and it's kind of these cuts between Ivan Drago. You can see Dolph Lundgren again. He looks beat up, but still pretty strong and massive. You can see his son Victor Drago, who is enormous. If you've seen the trailers, he's enormous from that. And then you get to see Michael B. Jordan about to do his first, or not first, but his big fight for the championship. Tessa Thompson's there. She tells him to go take a poop. And at some point, the movie asks, what are you fighting for? I think that's what Rocky asks. Because a promoter comes to Ivan Drago in the Ukraine and says, listen, I think we can get you a big fight with this guy, Apollo Creed's son. And Ivan Drago agrees for his son Victor that, yeah, that sounds good. And then it cuts to, basically, they throw it up on the news that all this, that there's going to be this big fight between Ivan Drago, or between Victor Drago potentially and Michael B. Jordan, Creed, as long as Creed agrees. So then Creed has the choice: is he going to agree to this fight or not? Right. So then, as with the first Creed, Rocky's running the restaurant Adrian's. Do you remember that from the first Creed? Which, by the way, if you live in Carroll Gardens, if you live in Brooklyn, Adrian's looks like all the most terrible Italian restaurants, like really like just here's a meatball, here's like a terrible bowl of like overcooked pasta.
I'm gonna bring out some Parmesan for the table.
It looks like a terrible
Parmesan for the table.
But so Ivan Drago goes and sees Stallone at this at Adrian's. It's the first scene of them together, and the whole time I'm thinking, oh man, I had this impulse: don't make Ivan Drago the bad guy. I don't know why.
Well, it's because in Rocky 4, during the Cold War and all the Russia-U.S. BS that was going on then, it made you because you asked me the question is Ivan Drago worthy of empathy?
Yes.
And I would say absolutely.
Yeah, he feels manipulated.
He's completely manipulated. He says it in the first when they come out in the actual fight and they meet it at the center of the ring for the touch gloves moment, and he's like, I must break you, I will, I must,
yeah.
I don't want to do this, but
that line comes up again. He says it to his son.
You must break him. Yeah. it plays into that Russia is so different. We're so different. We're so different. That's why you could argue that Rocky IV was the best movie because it's the first time in the series that they deal with these like us versus them issues, because the entire series is predicated on this us versus them, like black guy versus white guy. You know,
Eddie Murphy, sort of, because the first Rocky's really about going the distance. You know, that's the whole thing. Like he just wants to. He doesn't even really want to win. He just wants to get up there and not be a bum.
I mean, just visually. I'm not like not what the movie sort of conveys. Okay, yeah. Like not what like Sly wanted to convey with it, but just like what people see.
But you're right.
Eddie Murphy has this bit in either Delirious or whatever, where he's talking about how Italians.
The purple suit.
Is it purple suit?
He's wearing the purple suit, yeah.
Where he's talking about how Italians really love that Rocky movie. And I think because it's about representation. Rocky for Italians is a representation of what it is to be Italian American.
Right.
So of course they're going to gravitate to it. So, but like for young black kids, what we're seeing was, oh, if you're a black dude, you're gonna get beat up by this white guy regardless. Yes. That's what it always felt like. It always, and first for those first three, it was definitely like, oh well, Rocky's gonna win again because
because that's what Rocky does. But not in the first movie. Sidebar that for a second. We're gonna talk about a quote from Muhammad Ali in a minute.
For sure.
But I wanted to bring back to the scene with Ivan Drago first in Rocky, and what they've established early in the movie is that Ivan Drago and his son. And if you remember Brigitte Nelson,
of course,
right?
I loved her.
So that's her son. She leaves them. You don't see this, but he's like, your wife, your mother left us.
Wait, is she in the movie?
Well, hold on, that's the big holy cow moment. But yes,
how'd she look?
Man, she looks. I don't want to say bad.
Ran through.
It's hard to tell because she's only like 55. She's not that old.
Really?
Yeah, she's really not that old. But they've also done her up in like strict Russian, their idea of Russian makeup, like hardcore eyeliner. Her hair's up in a kind of a flat toppy type thing.
Is she still rocking like the short dude?
Yes. Well, they've kind of done her out. She was 7 months pregnant when they filmed her scenes.
Wait.
Yes.
Now?
Yes. She spent 10 years trying to have a baby, so she's 7 months pregnant. So
wow. Okay.
So she actually looks kind of good for all things considered, and then kind of really, really strict and harsh, but that's probably also how they stylized her. Anyways,
all right. All that to say.
Yeah, hold on. So basically, she's left Ivan Drago and her son. The Russians have like kicked them out of the country, and they're living in the Ukraine. Okay. So for them, it's like this really like we lost everything in that fight. And this is what he tells Rocky: I lost everything, when you beat me, And he's only a dick a little bit about Apollo, but it's just almost a little too much. Like I really wanted a scene between them to be like, look, a
commiseration of
get your boy Adonis, get him to fight this fight because we really need it. You know what I mean? My son and I really need it. And there's a slight version of that, but it's not quite all there. So of course, Rocky's like, no, I don't want him to fight. Adonis goes, I have to fight, which is strange because like he didn't really care about his dad in the first one. He was trying to move away from it, but now he feels kind of insulted,
compelled to. And...
Yeah, but they're gonna fight. Right. So of course Rocky says, I'm not gonna train you. So Adonis goes and he finds his father's trainer's son, which was in the first movie. I forget the guy's name, and they train. And you can tell from the training that it's not going to go well. You just know this fight's going to go bad. So of course
there's 2 fights in this movie.
Yes, there's 2 fights. Technically 3, because the movie opens up with Adonis and he beats Wheeler, whatever the guy Wheeler. But then they say Wheeler was 3 years past his prime. So then he goes on and he fights Drago the first time. And of course it goes as you expect. Drago just beats the shit out of him. It's very intense. He does a couple of these specific like rib punches type thing that you hear like cracks of broken ribs and then right at the end when Adonis is down and they're doing the countdown and he's about to win, Victor Drago punches Creed in the face, basically, and knocks him out. And it's like such a bad punch, you're like, oh my god, did he die? It looks like he could have died from that punch. That disqualifies Victor Drago.
And that's why they need a second fight.
Yeah, and a note on Victor Drago, he almost says nothing throughout the entire movie, but I think he's a real boxer in real life.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but his acting is really good in this. It's very, very subtle, and you get the sense from just like in Rocky IV, that he's also sort of being manipulated. He's trying to please his father, that he's been a fighter all his life. He works in like a cement factory, just carrying cement all the time. So you kind of you feel for him a little bit, you know what I mean? So he's not like this strict bad guy. Neither is Ivan Drago. He's a little more bad than I would have preferred, but not really a bad guy. And actually, Ivan Drago's got the best arc in the entire movie. What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say that it's over the course of the Rocky movies. I feel like nobody was ever really a bad guy other than Clubber Lang.
I don't even think Clubber Lang was a bad guy.
I think Clubber Lang was a hella bad guy. But he shows up to Rocky's press conference, starts going at him, starts talking to stuff about like tell your wife to come over to my place and yes, you could say that that's all just orchestration for to build up for a fight.
Yeah.
But like in none of those other movies has any of the villains gone to that much of an extent. I mean maybe Tommy Gunn in Rocky V, but he's also manipulated. He gets orchestrated by that I forget the character's name, but the Don King character guy who's like
I think it's like Don King or something. Duke.
Duke. Right.
Yeah. Some from Duke. So I'm bringing back circle around here. So of course Creed goes to Rocky and says train me, and he won't. And Rocky says this line like he's like what are you fighting for? And then they show you Adonis Creed. And to me, there's like there's a subtext there. Like if you ask the black man what he's fighting for,
and a disconnect a little bit.
You know what I mean?
Right? Because he had no real connection to his dad. At all. And then now Rocky's asking him this question of what are you fighting for, and then they show you images of
Ivan Drago.
No, Creed.
Creed, yeah.
His dad.
Yeah. But there is a question. He doesn't quite know. He's fighting because he wants to be a champ.
But isn't he already a champ at the start of this movie? He's a champ already.
Yes, but he has to defend that.
Right.
Yeah.
From Old Boy, but Old Boy gets disqualified with the illegal whatever.
Yes.
So why? It seems like a lot of these kind of things are put in place to make it like
it's the only
If Victor Drago is fighting because he wants to better his situation, he doesn't want to work in the cement factory anymore, and his family got basically everything that's happened to him in this point is because of this fight. Why not win that fight so that you can better yourself? Why get yourself disqualified so that you have to have another fight with this person?
Right. It's the weakest point of the movie. But right before he does the punch that gets himself disqualified, that's when Ivan Drago says to him, "You must break him," and really pushes him. Like, you're toying with him, get in there and kick his ass and end this now. And so that's when he does kind of like,
an illegal punch.
Yeah, an illegal punch, right? So anyway, what are you fighting for? It kept me thinking, does race belong in these Rocky movies? Ryan Coogler just did Creed, and he completely avoids it. It's there as a subtext in the background.
I think if you're doing a Rocky movie, you can't not. And this is America. It can't not be tied into some aspect of it.
Right.
Like what we were saying about how representation matters.
Right. So Roger Ebert sits down with Muhammad Ali to watch Rocky II for the first time. And Muhammad Ali is pretty good about watching the movie. He says that part's fake, that's real, and watches the movie and enjoys it. But gets to the end and he says, so this is a quote from Ali to Roger Ebert, for a black man to come out superior would be against America's teachings. I have been so great in boxing, they had to create an image like Rocky, a white image on the screen to counteract my image in the ring.
I absolutely agree with it.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. Like the fact, you can't not talk about, especially when it's a movie about pugilism and boxing, where it'd be different if both these characters, if Apollo had been a white guy instead of a black guy, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. But because those first three movies were based on this, you can't not talk about a movie like Rocky and not talk about race, because race in America are interwoven together.
They're there.
You can't. And Ryan in Creed, in the first Creed, Ryan may not have tipped his hat to the ode, because you don't really have to. And as a black dude, you don't really have to. You just be like, I'm existing in the world, and here are the stipulations and the things that are going to the whole me.
That's what I'm saying. So when Rocky in this Creed 2 says, "What are you fighting for?" I'm like, this is unspoken. Like he's fighting for a lot of different
reasons. Well,
right.
that makes it. So then ask that question, but don't show us Apollo. Don't show us images of Apollo and make it about this father figure that you had no connection to whatsoever, really.
And there's a history of this with boxing too. You know, nobody's made it like they did it.
Jack Johnson. How is there we not have a Jack Johnson movie?
Jack Johnson movie. Where's the Jack Johnson movie? Because it's a great story. 1910.
It was an amazing story.
Yeah, he goes up against Jim Jeffries for 15 rounds and wins. And on July 4th and July 5th, White America riots.
And more to the point, Jack Johnson was having relationships with white women in a time where, like 1910, like how did white people not burn the world down that he was doing this?
Yeah,
like
why has nobody made this movie?
Ask yourself. Yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah. Why hasn't Hollywood made a movie about an exceptional black guy living in a time where exceptional black guys were not a thing?
Again, there's got to be a good reason.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I feel it's a Hollywood movie. So, and this still kind of persists. Even in 2015, Philly finally erected a statue of Joe Frazier. They always had the Rocky statue. Yeah. They never had Joe Frazier. They had the different champion.
They had a fake champion statue. They had a fictional character statue up for longer than an actual fighting person.
Yes.
And why is that, you think?
So when Bill Burr, he's a comedian, when Bill Burr is in Philly and the crowd turns against him on something, what he says is, bunch of fucking losers, fucking Rocky is your hero, the whole pride of your city is built around a fucking guy who doesn't even exist. You got Joe Frazier from here, but he's black, so you can't fucking deal with him. So you make a statue of some 3-foot fucking Italian, you stupid fucking Philly cheese eating blah 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 blah.
I love Bill Burr.
Bill Burr's great.
He spits the shit. He spits the real.
So
he spits the real, because that's dead ass. That is a dead ass the reason, bro.
So there's a good the article I sent you, which you didn't read, which is fine, so we'll talk about it now. It's written by Adam Serwer in The Atlantic, and one of the things that he says is that after 3 films in which Apollo functions as a little more than a means to illustrate Rocky's greatness, he dies to provide the white protagonist with motivation a means to and character development.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the question is, and this is sort of a thing that happened with the Rambo series, where Rambo won First Blood.
And this is actually where I was gonna tie this back around, because you notice how like those movies those movies kind of ended pretty abruptly.
Yeah.
Rambo movies are the most racist.
Yes.
In fact, you can go back a lot of those war movies, like the Delta Forces, any kind of army affiliated movie where you had to deal with like us versus them was probably going to be racist. Your Delta Forces, your Rambos.
Oh yeah.
I'm blanking on other ones, but like all of those movies from that era, like
there's a white savior going in.
White savior going in, or like blowing up a bunch of like poor brown motherfuckers. Yeah. Like that was Hollywood's like bread and butter.
Right.
Let's just send a white guy into some place where brown people normally live and have him decimate them with his awesomeness and save a bunch of Americans, ostensibly, because that's always the plots of these. They go in to save Americans for some reason or whatever.
So what's so good about Creed and Creed 2, and to give Stallone credit, is that he really does pass the torch over to Michael B. Jordan, and allows Ryan Coogler with the first movie to make this not about a white guy winning.
Well, that's why I was asking you, do you think we should still be making Rocky movies? Because, excuse me, this does seem like a clear heir apparent. We're gonna pass the torch a little bit, but do we still need to be making movies like this?
Yeah, I think because Rocky 2 is...
Because representation matters.
Representation absolutely matters. In the first Rocky, he doesn't win, and I think that was... I don't... are the Rocky movies racist? Yes and no. America's racist, so yes.
Yes.
But I think they do go out of their way to try not to
yes.
be.
I agree.
But
I don't feel like Rocky, like I don't feel like ever in the course of making these movies did Stallone make these movies to be like to address that or
right.
That was never his intention.
Right, exactly. So a funny thing happens at the end of this movie as you're watching the final scene, because it's going to end with Victor Drago, and he's going to definitely fight Apollo Creed. Because the whole thing tears up Michael B. Jordan's Apollo's character after he loses. He doesn't have any self-respect for himself. Tessa Thompson, Bianca is her character. She has a baby. Ivan Drago and Victor, they go back to Russia, and Russia like welcomes them in. They're at like a rich oligarch's home, and then in walks his mom with blonde hair. They're all sitting at a huge table. Everything goes quiet. She walks in and sits down, and you can see that like Ivan's there and Victor's there, and they're like looking right at her, and she's abandoned them. But now everybody wants them back because they finally went over to America and basically, won, right? But Victor's not quite into it. For the first time in the movie, you can see Ivan Drago smiling. You never see him smile in Rocky IV, but he's smiling in Creed II now that his son presumably has won. He was disqualified, but he won, right? But Victor's bothered by this, and he tells his father, he's like, look, this is not right. These people only like you. We're only back here because I won. This is not genuine. But Ivan's like, it's okay. Just, we'll get a rematch. And of course they do. One of my other problems with the movie is that now we're into the training montage, because now Apollo goes back to Rocky, and Rocky's like, I'm sorry I didn't train you. I will train you this time. In Rocky IV, they go to Siberia. They train in the snow.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Running up mountains with like a horse harness on and doing pull-ups in the barn. Yeah, it was
awesome.
dope.
It's great.
It was dope.
Sidebar, do you know how Rocky IV has the most montage out of any of the Rocky movies?
I remember it. I remember that montage more clearly than any of the other ones.
32% of the movie is montage.
I believe that. Yeah, makes sense.
So with the new Creed 2, the montage is they go to the desert and they train with a bunch of guys with tattoos who maybe, presumably, they're like ex-cons. Who knows? It's kind of
desert.
Yeah, it's kind of a weak training montage. I wanted it to be better. I kind of wanted them to go to Russia because then.
Well, they'd already been to Russia. They can't do that one again.
But they've had the last fight. They've been against Victor Drago. Is in
Russia.
Yeah.
In the same way that Rocky IV was. So you can't do a training montage in that way. Like, Rocky's already been to Russia doing a training montage. You can't then necessarily... Like, basically, I feel like this is where it falls down for me. Why I wasn't that nearly as excited to see this movie. This movie feels to me a bit like Rocky 3.
Yeah.
That's what this feels like.
It is. There's Rocky 3.
This feels like Rocky 3. This feels like I'm the champion. I've done this great thing. And then here comes this usurper out of nowhere to be like, you don't deserve to be champion, so you have to fight me. He fights him, gets beaten, gets distraught. Oh, woe is me. I'm not as good as I was. Yep. I needed training. And then he goes to Rocky.
He goes back to Rocky. They go to the desert. They train.
And then of course.
And then they're back in Russia.
This feels mad Rocky 3 to me.
But here's where the movie is different from all the other Rocky movies.
Okay.
Or maybe not different, but here's where the movie's at its best. So they're having their final fight, Victor Drago versus Creed, and they're fighting, and it's going well. Creed's kind of winning, kind of losing. Victor does this kind of illegal punch, but the ref doesn't catch it because I guess presumably they're in Russia, so the ref is like on Victor Drago's side, right? But then Creed starts to kind of have his comeback, right? And you can tell that like he really starts to kick the shit out of Victor Drago, and you can see it on Ivan Drago's face. And then his mother, Bridget, thank you. She's been in the audience the whole time. She gets him and leaves because she can tell that he's losing. You can see it in Victor's face. He recognizes that his mom's leaving. He starts to lose even more, but he's looking over his father, and he doesn't want to disappoint his father, right? Mm-hmm. So you can tell that he's pushing himself, and you can tell the movie's sort of leading towards maybe Creed could kill him, right? In the ring, the way that Ivan Drago killed his father.
Uh-huh.
And right at the last moment, Ivan Drago throws in the towel and ends the fight.
Interesting.
Yeah. And to me, that was... And he goes to his son, and he says, it's okay. I wanted more lines there, but that's all he says is, it's okay. And he hugs his son, and,
Interesting.
And the movie ends. There's one last shot of them sort of back in Ukraine, kind of jogging. They're jogging together.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that bit, because if you remember in Rocky 4, like when Apollo's trainer was going to throw the towel, when Rocky was going to throw the towel in for him, and Apollo trainer's like,
Yeah.
You can't do that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I like this sort
that
of
comes
like,
up in this movie. Rocky says, "I had the chance to throw the towel. I didn't throw it. Your father died. It's my fault. It's not on you.
And see,
it's not your responsibility. It's my responsibility."
That's not necessarily true because Rocky was going to throw the towel in, but his cornerman stopped him.
I know, right? So I have like a little interview because it wasn't quite enough for me. Something felt like there was
About the ending of the movie.
Yes, about the ending of
Creed.
Of the movie. Yes, an interview with Dolph Lundgren. Let me see if I can find it here real quick.
And shout out to that boy Dolph for working again.
Yeah, no, and he's great in this. He's really good, really charismatic.
You know, he never really stopped working.
Yeah, no, he did straight to video stuff. Yeah,
like for the time that we didn't see him, his whole career was straight to video.
Yeah. He's a very smart guy too.
I think he's like a
doctor.
Isn't he
like
Swedish,
by the way?
Yeah, I know that, but like, I think he has like a doctorate in some kind of science or something.
Kind of science.
The dude's a doctor.
Very smart guy. So on slashfilm.com, they ask him the question: "Do you think Ivan has any remorse for killing a man in the ring?" And he says he has lots. He had remorse for it, and I think the way it was described in the script is that he does tell Rocky, "I did not mean for your friend to die." That line was taken out, but I think he had remorse, which I wish that line was not taken out.
Me too.
It's great. He was a young man and obviously had to sort of take the blame off himself, a natural reaction. You want to blame other people, especially for something painful. So he blames it on Apollo. Apollo was just not strong enough to survive. You get in the ring in boxing, you get hurt, you get hurt. I think that's how Drago thinks about it, but I think inside he's sorry about it. At the end, there was a scene where me and Rocky kind of make up, and I also make amends with Adonis for his father. There was a locker room scene that is not in the picture. I don't know if it was too soft, or it was too much maybe, or maybe it's left for Creed 3. I don't know.
Creed 3, huh?
Yeah.
I personally think they should end these movies.
You think so?
I think they need to bookend them. I don't think there needs to be Creed movie. I don't think there needs to be subsequently Creed 3, 4, 5, and 6 the way that Rocky did. I feel like Rocky as an entity was enough. I don't necessarily. I mean, I can understand that, like, for representation's sake, like a whole generation of young black kids coming up being like, yeah, I could be a prize fighter or whatever it is. But I just don't see the need to make these movies. Like they're basically rehashing old ideas now. Like we just went through like 45 minutes of discussing how Creed 2 is not dissimilar from Rocky 3.
Yeah.
Like how, like you can't. I just don't see them. I think this horse has run its course. I don't think they can make these movies as compelling the way that, like, for me, the first 4 movies for me plus these 2 new ones, I consider kind of be canon. I don't consider that Rocky 5 to be a part of that canon. I know, Rocky 5, but
it's funny. It's Rocky 5 is the only movie directed by the original director, which I think is John G. Avildsen. Yeah.
Sly originally directed.
Yeah, no, he directed all the one. I think he directed 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. But John G. Avildsen directed the first one. Yeah, that's why it kind of has a different feel to it. But I don't think they're going to end with this movie. This movie made $35 million.
Yeah, that's why.
It was the most money ever made on a Rocky movie opening.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, that's why.
There's no Adrian moment at the end of the first Rocky, and I don't know what they would have done here with
at the end of the first Rocky.
Or at the end, at the end of Creed 2, like in the first Rocky. Yeah. Right. There's no Adrian moment, which I kind of missed.
Did you need one? Do you need an Adrian moment? Because I think the Adrian moment is so succinctly, wholeheartedly a Rocky moment, and just that first one, because it never happens really. Maybe in that fourth one, does he call for her in that fourth one after he beats?
No, he's like, you can change. He ends the Cold War essentially in the fourth one.
Right.
So the movie's powerful. It's good. If I see a movie alone, I'm gonna cry. I cried I cried so hard in this movie. About six times I cried. If you were there, I probably would have only cried like
You'd
twice.
Man up. It's okay. It's popcorn in my eye.
I got some butter.
Truffle butter. Truffle butter is so spicy.
But I think they'll differ. I don't know what the plot to Creed 3 would be. I think they should wait. I think they should wait about 5 years. Let him age a little bit. The other thing is, like, they didn't kill Rocky in this. Rocky's now older than he was when Mick trained Rocky in the original one. I don't know what the exact ages were. Something like 65, 68, something like that. I don't know if his character is as old, but as far as actors, Burgess Meredith, Sylvester Stallone is now older than Burgess Meredith. So there's that.
Yep.
So yeah, and they didn't kill him. Because that's what this movie needed. The movie needed him to have something
permanent. They needed something.
What he ends up fighting for is he has his kid, and the kid is born deaf. And so the idea is that he's fighting for his kid, which doesn't logically make that much sense. They don't need money.
No.
Because in Rocky 2, he needs the money.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's my point. Like everything that you're gonna bring up right now is grounds for me being like, we don't need no more Rocky movies.
Yes.
That's just me.
Yeah. Well,
like I know they garner money. I know they have like that famous dun dun, like it gets you hype. You hear that?
Conti, yeah.
You hear that? You hear Conti, and it gets you hype. It gets you into that zone. You're like, yeah, let's go outside and lift a Volkswagen and that's bottle, you know. But
it's still the best workout music of all time.
It has to be
so
easily.
If it comes on at the climbing gym, like I crush.
It gets you hype. Yeah. It just something about that inherent bam bam that trumpet bam 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 bam, like all of it. But we don't need any more of these pictures.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say take it away from Rocky, kill off Rocky, and let Creed do his own thing, and make him, and then be able to change from the formula somewhat.
Actual boxers' lives aren't this interesting.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like, it's gonna be hard for me to sort of.
I don't know what was the fight recently where somebody like the crowd that he won the fight, but the crowd started booing him and he jumped into the audience and started beating people.
No. You're talking about a UFC fight. It's not boxing.
That's UFC. Yeah.
This is UFC, and it was a Conor McGregor fight versus. I think he was a Russian. I think he may be like a Russian Muslim or something.
Yeah.
And basically, what happened is, so the fight ended. This guy choked out Conor. He beat him.
Yeah.
And at the end of the fight, people like he beat him, and people started like booing or whatever, and Conor was just in the ring, kind of minding his own business, and like his boys, the guy who won, the Russian guy, his boys just kind of jumped into the ring and started whooping Conor's ass, just. Yeah, like so, like
you put that in the movie, people are like, no, that never happened.
But like that could happen in boxing. Boxing's not gonna like this. Like it's like his corner, like not even a corner because it's an octagon. It's basically like a weird circle. So like yeah, he won the fight. The guys were being like, then this is the winner or whatever. And Conor was just kind of like, he's like, oh man, I just lost. And then boys jumped the octagon fence, jumped in the ring, and just started throwing hands on him.
That's like a 12-foot fence.
And like right. So I was like, man, this is crazy. But
so Creed goes in Creed 3.
Right.
He becomes an Ultimate Fighting Champion.
See that I feel like that is the only way that you could shift this paradigm to make it more interesting.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see another Creed / Rocky movie. If anything, yeah, he needs to change the venue. Yeah, let's see him go MMA and then get beat up, and or the way that in recent times Conor McGregor like stepped out of he like went from doing UFC to fight in an actual ring with Mayweather.
Yeah, recently.
Like last year. Right? No, actually, he went the full distance. He went the full distance with a professional fighter, and to his credit. Didn't do too bad. I actually watched it.
He better because there was a lot of money on that.
Well, and
make it worth it.
This is the thing. I feel like as good a fighter as Conor is, I just don't like how he promotes himself.
Yeah.
Like the way that he has to attack people's like family and like where they're from. Like some of the stuff.
He said some notoriously racist stuff. Right?
Notoriously racist stuff. Like. And I get it's all sort of under the guise of we're promoting a fight or whatever. But man, you don't
about that before.
You don't go on TV and talk about a man's family and like the kind of stuff he was saying. Like I used to be a fan of his because I thought he's a good fighter. He's a really unorthodox, really like throws punches from crazy angles and strong.
Yeah.
But just the way that like he would promote himself and conduct himself outside like. Fighting was just I was like, man, I can't back you, bro. You out here talking about this man's family being like monkeys and weird shit, bro. That's not a good look. It's not a good look.
No. I'm looking at my next piece of thing here, trying to figure out where to transition.
I mean, how do you go from like monkeys and beef? Well, man, is this a good time? Is this a good? All right.
What are some other good training montages that you can think of?
How to Train Your Dragon.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I have that
A
on
lot,
my list.
a lot
There
of
you go.
those.
There's G.I. Jane, 97.
I think there's every single episode of the A-Team.
A-Team, all right,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, because they would always have a moment in that show where
Did you like the A-Team remake movie?
No.
I kind of did. I saw
Did
it
you?
later. I saw it at home, and I was like, no expectations. Like, this is going to be terrible. I'm just going to fall right
I mean, it
asleep.
wasn't bad. It wasn't the A-Team.
No, it's not the A-Team.
It wasn't at all. And they had like, they tried to do like little nods to it, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were successful.
What about Kickboxer, 1989?
Still holds up.
Yeah.
Still holds up.
And then the other one, you got any more?
Let's see. There's Kickboxer.
I bet there's one in Mighty Ducks, right? I bet Mighty Ducks. Can't think of it. But
Yeah. Oh, there's a bunch of them in Mighty Ducks,
Yeah,
dude.
right.
Yeah, a bunch of them in Mighty Ducks. Trying to think. What else? Training montage.
All right, I got one more.
All right.
Batman Begins. 05.
You've
sacrificed. You've
sacrificed, but for
sure
good footing.
For,
For a killing stroke, you sacrifice a killing stroke for sure footing.
Batman's like, I won't kill this guy, but I'll kill everybody else in the room. All right.
So yeah. So things I watched this week that I was into.
What are you into this week?
I'm still watching Legends of Tomorrow. It's bad. I'm watching Legends of Tomorrow. I'm
like
watching
bad as in awesome or bad?
like just bad. No,
yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah.
Like that show is Jump the Shark. It jumped the shark.
Jump the shark.
But I still watch it because they're leaning into it now. They're like, yeah, we know what it is, and they just kind of lean in. They're like,
I couldn't get into it. I tried to watch the first episode, and I was like, no.
The first season isn't that bad because it's more online or more in vein with the comics.
Yeah.
Like you have Vandal Savage, you have the Hawks, like it all kind of makes sense in your canon of DC. Somewhere in like the second season, they're just like, we're going off the rails. It became like a non-episodic version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You know, like those Buffy episodes, it became like sort of their own little. Each episode was like their own little like. We're doing this week.
Yes, Joss Whedon. Yeah.
That's exactly where they just lean into that. So there's that. I'm watching The Gifted. It's another.
What's The Gifted?
It's a mutant show. It's a Marvel show about mutants. It's a little more family driven. It's I think it could be a decent linchpin to some of these X-Men movies. So basically this is sort of telling the mutant registration has passed and mutants have gone underground, and this is sort of like the mutant underground's story while the X-Men are who knows where. I think the trajectory of this is right after, what was that? I think the third movie. I think this is sort of like X3, post X3, if you want to do timeline wise. I think because the Mutant Registration Act has happened and in America, and so there's like a department that's responsible for containing and rounding up mutants, and so the mutants have gone underground. And this family, their teenage son and daughter are two brand new mutants, and they're super strong. Like their lineage is from like past evil mutants, like the struck. It's deep.
We're gonna get into some Harry Potter lineage from a note. We have comments, by the way.
Oh, word? Okay.
Some crazy lineage. You'll
so it's Legends of Tomorrow, The Gifted. I'm watching. I just started this new anime series on Netflix that looks like it has potential. It's called Hero Mask.
Ooh, cool.
I think it's by a French studio. I only extrapolate that because the subtitles, you only get them in English and French.
Okay, yeah, so sure.
Right.
Somebody put money into translating it.
But it's dope. It looks good. The animation style is great. And it's dealing with sort of like high concept science in the future. So it has potential. So that and I saw Venom.
Oh yes,
I saw Venom.
Let's spend 2 minutes and talk about your reaction to Venom.
Just
as a recap, I gave it like a C-.
Right. I think I'll give it a C+.
C+, okay.
Because for me, they got the Venom part of it right.
Yeah.
Like all the Venom shit is Venom shit. I don't like how they got there. Like that whole. I like the way it started. I like the opening shot of the movie is. You're seeing a spaceship come back into Earth's atmosphere and then break up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to give us too much more than that. Like, I get that.
Do you remember in Spider-Man 3, the Sam Raimi version?
Yes.
Where it's just strict coincidence?
Yes.
This meteor
and it
falls
jumps.
to Earth.
Well, and he's in the park with Mary Jane, and then it jumps onto his bike, and then travels home with him, and
everybody in the world.
It
hit Spider-Man.
It's the Sam Raimi version was a little suspect.
That movie's so good. Anyway, keep going.
But the Venom part of it they got right. All like the internal like talking that, and I like that they made Eddie Brock's character not a complete ass.
Right.
I like that like he was actually like doing stuff in the world because the Eddie Brock character from the comics was a dick.
Yeah.
He deserved to be Venom, and it's only through subsequent iterations of that character that he gained sort of an empathetic nature and became more of a.
As the comics get more and more 90s.
Yeah. Like. Because he was solely like a psychotic, crazy, and like I'm in this for revenge on Spider-Man and fuck what you heard, and then he kind of transitioned into like I'm gonna help the everyman. He became like the heroes. He became like the heroes for hire, but Spider-Man is.
Yeah. Will you see another one in the theater?
See, that's what I'm gonna say. I'll see another one, but I don't know if I'm gonna pay $20. I don't know if I want to pay a New York ticket price. I'll pay a Midwest ticket price, like $8.
Or you go to
$2
cinema.
$2 cinema, yeah, I could see it.
$2 check.
But no, C+.
I'm surprised that they could come out with a movie so tonally
disparate,
disparate, yeah,
disparate, like
it
all
was
parts
just
of it,
all over the place.
Yeah,
like I like anything superheroes. And I struggled to be like, all right, I guess I'm watching this.
I basically just liked it when he would just when the Venom character would interact with human beings. Like at the end of that movie where he walks into the convenience store and the guy's robbing the place and he's like, listen, what? You're going to leave here, or the next time I see you, I'm going to eat your arms, I'm going to eat your legs, I'm going to eat your eyes out.
Yeah. At the end of the movie.
At the end of the movie,
it
yeah.
Been like you way earlier.
But no, I think it had to come there because at that point, the character of Venom and Eddie Brock, they share this body, but there was a time when they weren't like together like that. And it's over the course of this movie you see at the start of this movie like the Venom symbiote's like, you're my ride, you're gonna do what I tell you, this is what's going down, blah 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 blah.
Right.
And then by the end, Eddie's like, all right, you can stay, but here are the ground rules. You can't eat good people. You have to like the relation, like how they get to where they are by the end of the movie is something that is they got right from the comic. That's right. So like it has the backbone of a good Venom movie storyline, but because of its disparate tonal whatevers, that's why I had to give it the C+. But it's.
Do you think it's regressive? It feels like a superhero movie to me that was made around the time like the first X-Men movies.
I don't think it's regressive.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Because it feels like all the Marvel movies now, they've fleshed out their tone.
Right.
They fleshed out where the movies are going for the most part. Even the new Captain Marvel movie looks like it's going to be better than any other Marvel movie we've seen.
Really?
Yeah, it looks great.
Really?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I think that I feel like Marvel's so big at this point, like they have
big
a
to fail?
crew, and then they put a director in the slot, and whenever the director tries to move out of it, I guess what's his face from Thor Ragnarok, he was like the best example of like a director putting his own spin on the thing, but Thor really needed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yes. Well, okay. So we should move into letters and comments. Unless you watch anything else.
Let me see. I think that was it. Let me think. Because I meant to make a list because you told me to start writing down what I saw, but I
didn't do it either.
I totally forgot.
The only thing I watched was Star Trek Discovery.
No.
Rewatching that.
I went back and just the Rocky movies for this and my normal The Gifted. Titans.
Titans. Yeah, I haven't
definitely.
watched it yet. I'll get
definitely
that at some point.
should get into that. And what else? Was that it? Oh, I'm really into John Oliver, but he's on hiatus now.
Yes, he is. Yeah. So. Do you watch his other Hassan Minaj?
I started to.
His show's good. I like it a lot.
It's very informative. I don't know if I like his style of presenting it.
Yeah, I watched Samantha Bee, but I don't have access to whatever that's on.
Right.
Whatever that is.
That's
yeah.
I think it's Comedy Central.
Do you want to give us some theme music for comments? Our comments.
Oh
section?
man, I didn't even plan a theme music.
Just hum it. Just sing it right now.
All right. Just a little loving early in the morning. Comments!
Yeah! Alright, so first comment was from Wade Leostro.
Yeah, that boy Wade. What's good, baby?
Wade's an artist out on the West Coast. He also did a lot of did all of our YouTube art and hopefully more art for us.
Still waiting on that comic book, Wade.
Yep. And Wade says, notably not in the remake is Dumbo's mentor in the 1941 film Timothy Q. Mouse, as well as Jim Crow and his flock of crows that helped Dumbo.
They were called Jim Crow?
There was, okay, so I looked this up.
Oh, shit. Oh, holy, I did not know that's what the name of the Crows group was. Holy shit, dude.
Yes.
Oh, I really want them to try it now. I definitely want them to try doing the Crows now.
I can't even listen to it. I can't. Okay. So, anyways, so I looked it up. There's 5 crows altogether. One of them is named Jim Crow. The guy who plays Jim Crow is white.
Oh, what did I tell you? What did I tell you?
And they are all unlisted. I forget. Wait, you can look it up on IMDb if you want. But they're all unlisted for whatever reason. So I think they were not uncredited. Excuse me. So they're not originally given the credit in the original Dumbo. They had one. There's not pictures for the other guys who did the other crows, but there was one black guy for one of the crows. But
and the rest of them are white guys.
But the guy who plays the crow,
the leader, Jim Crow. Wow, was a white guy.
Yeah.
In America, bro.
In America. 1941.
I'm saying, bro, and that's why.
Our second comment comes from Dave Correa. Dave is my cousin. He's out also on the West Coast. He says at San Diego Comic Con this past year, they dressed up a Taco Bell to look like the one in Demolition Man.
No shit.
I think there's pics of it online.
That's awesome.
The line was around the block, so we couldn't make it in. But they had a fancy, futuristic menu, and they even put the 3 shells in the bathroom.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, right?
That's awesome.
And then this guy named Bo Dial, he says, Dennis Leary's role, the ref, 1994, came after his role in Demolition Man in 1993.
Well, thank you, Nerd Bo.
Thank you, Nerd Bo. But he also played the stepdad in The Sandlot, 1993, which was released before Demolition Man. Nerd
that's
glasses.
right. He's dead ass. He was the dad.
Yeah. And he's really good as the dad in the Sandlot, too.
Yeah. But he's only in it for like this much.
Yeah, but you think he's going to be a total dick because that's like the standard stepdad who doesn't pay attention to the kid, so the kid goes out and finds friends and they play.
Which is the irony of casting Dennis Leary to play like the.
Yes, exactly. And he turns out to be a nice guy. And then finally, no, that's it. Then we got some actual emails. Those were the comments from last week's podcast video. But then we got some actual letters or emails. The first one is from Mary Kirstein.
Yay! What up, Mary?
And so she had asked about Crimes of Grindelwald, and I said, well, let me know what you thought. And this is what she says, and hold on.
Oh, wow. She went down the rabbit hole?
Yeah, I'm just going to deep breath here.
Let's take the plunge, y'all.
Aurelius/Credence. After the first time seeing it, I left it thinking Grindelwald had to be lying, but after the second, I think it's the truth. Little subtext. At the end of the movie, you find out the character, the bad guy from the first Fantastic Beasts, spoiler alert, the guy from the first Fantastic Beasts, the bad guy who plays the Truth About Kevin actor, I forget the actor's name. Anyways, he ended up being Dumbledore's brother at the end of the second Fantastic Beasts movies.
Dumbledore's brother that we see in, what Harry Potter was that? The one who helps out them, who helped Harry out in, what was that? Deathly Hallows, maybe?
Yeah, so that's going to come up here. So, what she goes on to say, from Joe's perspective, I guess she's talking about J.K. Rowling, I don't think that she would spend the entire movie going down the rabbit hole of the Lestrange storyline and then have this big revelation and it not be true.
Talking about Bellatrix.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Tim Burton's ex-wife, or what's-her-face. However, I believe that Aurelius is Albus's half-brother, not full brother. I think Rita Skeeter's biography of Dumbledore from the Deathly Hallows would have found out about Aurelius had he been Kinra, Albus's mom, and Percival, Albus's dad's son. Also, the timelines don't work with the original canon for him to be their child. Kinra died in 1899, and the boat ride that Credence was on as an infant was in 1901. Percival was sent to Azkaban in 1891, so I guess there is a chance that he could have impregnated someone there. Also, I don't think that Jo would have dropped in the background about Dumbledore's Phoenix, which is not mentioned anywhere in the original books. All this still leaves a lot of questions, but she has 3 more movies to wrap it up. Then I ask her, would you rather have 3 movies of these Fantastic Beasts or 5? And she says, it's hard to say right now. I would rather have 3 if I would rather have 3 or 5. The way this movie went, I'm leaning towards 3, but I have to put my faith in Jo that she has a plan for it all. I'm hoping that this movie is just setting us up for better things in the future. Then I ask her how she felt about Dumbledore's representation as a gay man, and she says, this is the question.
Dumbledore's gay?
Yeah.
No shit.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, the longer
Did they reveal that in...
No.
So
they don't reveal it at all in any of their Harry Potters, but then in 2007, J.K. Rowling
came out and she said,
yeah, there's no proof of any of this, but, just so you know, Dumbledore's gay.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so she says, this is the question everyone is talking about. I think Dumbledore's response of, we were closer than brothers, was correct. When Dumbledore's character, he rarely talks about himself. Harry felt like he didn't know him, which was in Dumbledore's character, because she's right, because in the Harry Potter movies, he doesn't really talk about himself, so there's not really a point for that to come up. He doesn't have another lover in the Harry Potter movies, so presumably he could be gay. I don't know, whatever.
But did J.K. come out and was like,
yeah, she just came out and said he's gay.
Okay.
That's like George Lucas coming out and being like, by the way, Luke Skywalker's gay.
Orlando.
Or anything.
By the way, Lando likes the D.
They made so much big deal about pansexual. Like, who cares? Like,
I mean, at this point, dude, it's 2018. If it consents, have sex with it. The world's going down the drain.
If your toaster says do me, do it.
If your toaster gives you the good eye, then yeah, buy it a Chianti and see where it goes.
Love that toaster. Harry felt like he didn't know Dumbledore at all in Deathly Hallows, remember? And also think of the year. It's 1927, so there's no way that he would be coming out of the closet, which I agree with, except that this is the Wizarding world.
Right. This isn't necessarily our world.
I would like to think that in the Wizarding world, they were much more advanced. Progressive, exactly. Yeah. But she is right. Jo didn't even announce that he was gay until after all in capital letter, the books were published October of 2007. She put them on.
Yo, Mary's
on it.
She's like, well, actually, let me...
Yeah.
She's like, hold my beer. I'm about to do this nerd shit.
However, I do think that they could have shown them at least kiss or hold hands in one of the flashback scenes. I am hopeful that they will show more in the coming movies. I read a little thread about this. Long story short, in the comments, people were back and forth debating all over it, whether or not he should be shown more gay or less gay, whatever. Somebody in the comments said, well, this movie is not just made for Americans or for English people. They want to make a lot of money in Russia. They want to make a lot of money in all these other countries that are not as progressive. And that's potentially why they didn't lean into that more.
True.
And so some people are like, no, that's not good enough. I honestly didn't know what the answer to that question was. Is that good enough? Or, should we be leaning into this stuff more when the rest of the world is maybe not as progressive as...
I think representation matters. I think if we're making art based on how other people are going to perceive it, I don't know if that's necessarily the venue you want to take.
Right.
I think you want to you create the art and then let it speak for itself. I don't think you want to placate, oh, well, it won't make money in the Philippines because that crazy motherfuckers out there talking about cutting people's heads off and whatever. I think you make the art to reflect the times and the people.
Right.
But
you make art because you make art. If you're the artist, that's what you want to put in. You put that in.
That's true.
If you're,
but I don't know too many artists who are like, I'm gonna make art based on the people per se.
Yeah. Well, this is also this is the bigger discussion of like Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. Was he making it from his perspective of the art, and what responsibilities does he have also to the fans,
right? And
also to Luke Skywalker's lineage and all this.
I think that's interesting that you bring up because I think it depends on the property. I think when you have a property as big and as notable and as known as Star Wars, something that has been established for the better part of
Harry Potter too.
Well, that I feel like that is more recent, but I think it's garnered the acclaim it's had because it reached such worldwide tipping point.
Right. I sort of say look, I would have liked to have seen Dumbledore and Jude Law kiss. I think that would have been great. Show some affection, show some emotion, and if Russia has a problem with it,
then don't watch the fucking movie, Russia.
But once again, this is like in Iron Man 3, they changed the Mandalorian. They gave him a different name. Mandarin. They gave the Mandarin a different name. Oh, we didn't even do Star Wars news yet. Oh my God.
Well, wrap it up.
Oh man, okay.
Wrap it up.
They changed it for China. Who cares? Nobody cares. We got Star Wars news here. I got one more letter to read, and then we're gonna go back to Star Wars news. And this one's kind of also for you because you're our video game dude. All right. It's another one from Dave Correa to the email whatweinto@gmail.com, and he says, "Listen to your podcast right now. I like it. You're all into the same nerdy movies and games that I like. Plus, it's just nice to hear your voice. Thanks, Dave. I'm about halfway through, and you're talking about not having much time to play those long-form games like Fallout and Red Dead. Have you tried Limbo or Inside? Both games are about 3 hours each.
Limbo's great.
It's simple, and the graphics are great. I played Limbo. I played them both. I
didn't know the other one, but Limbo was fantastic.
Yeah, I played Limbo. It was a free PS.
Yeah, it was a PS.
Yeah, I
Plus.
got that. I didn't beat it. I liked a lot of it, but didn't beat it. And then I did download Inside, and again played a good portion of it. Got stuck at something, put it down, got busy. Tried to come back to it and was lost on the mechanics of what you could do again. And even though it's a 3-hour game, I still haven't taken it and replayed it. Dave, I promise I will. I know it's awesome. Both those games are great, and thanks for the email. Let's go to Star Wars news now.
Star Wars. All right, speak on it.
Yeah, so let me just pull this up here.
Is this more about the Mandalorians?
No, but that's what made me reminded. Let me just find it here. This is coming from Star Wars leaks on Reddit. This is a Reddit thing. Okay. So these are rumors.
Okay.
Star Wars Last Jedi rumors.
Conjecture.
I'm just going to read it off of here. It says some info. Recently, I was able to go to a Star Wars marketing presentation by Disney where they discussed all things Star Wars for 2019. It was mostly focused on marketing, but they talked about all the different projects and showed a ton of images and concept art. I realize I'm just some anonymous person on the internet, so take all of this information for what it's worth, but I just wanted to share. Also, I'm not exactly sure what info has already made it public, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, here you go. The overall theme of their marketing will be focused on the legacy characters and really reintroducing them to the younger generation of fans. Galaxy's Edge. Which is, I think Galaxy's Edge is the new Disney theme park that they're opening.
Oh, word. Park, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
They talked at length about the new theme park attraction and showed a ton of design, artwork, and even a flyover of the whole park. The most interesting thing here was the new ride featuring the Falcon. He goes on and talks about the Falcon. Galaxy of Adventures. Looks like this info was just announced, so no real new info here. They said it was 30 or so animated shorts that are 1 or 2 minutes long. This is key in reintroducing the old characters to the younger fans. This information has been out. They're talking about distilling moments of the original trilogy into like 1 or 2 minute little animated movies that you could show your kids.
Interesting.
And apparently the Darth Vader one is still terrifying and you should not show your kids.
Well, of course it's going to be terrifying. Like so much of that is darkness and red lightsaber, bro. Impressive.
This one's for you, Fallen Order video game. They said this is coming out in November. It takes place about 5 years after Revenge
November
of the
2019, Sith. I'm assuming.
Yes, okay. Yeah, definitely. 5 years after Revenge of the Sith, and follows the main character whose name is Cal.
A Star Wars video game?
Yeah, he was a Padawan that survived the efforts to kill all of the remaining Jedi. Not a ton of gameplay info, but some of the other storylines. Doesn't say. There was a mentor figure, blah, blah, blah. The only thing I remember is them talking about other characters they would come across from some of the comics.
Interesting.
There's some Mandalorian news, but I'm going to skip that. Episode 9. So plot info was pretty much non-existent here. They only mentioned that it takes place about a year after The Last Jedi, which we already presumed.
Well, we talked about them last week. We talked about them not giving these movies enough air between the two.
Yeah.
Is a year enough time?
Yeah, as long as some time has passed. 6 months is enough time. Doesn't matter. Okay. You need time to pass so that characters can develop off screen, so that when you come to them, your imagination will fill in whatever blanks. When Force Awakens immediately leads into The Last Jedi, we know that Rey was on Jakku as a nobody only like 2 days ago,
right?
And now she's on
wherever this
Supreme
new planet
Leader
is,
Snoke,
right?
Doing all this. So it's too. If they had given us even a passage of time and not even explain it, because how long is Luke on Dagobah? You never really
You never know.
You don't
You
know.
never know. Yeah.
You know,
ostensibly years.
Could
It
have been.
feels like
he's
years.
training,
right?
You know what I mean? But remember,
who
they're
knows?
in the Millennium Falcon, and they get into the asteroid belt,
Right.
and then they end up with Lightspeed, and then they get to Bespin. So the question is, how long was they in Lightspeed traveling from the asteroid field into Bespin? You don't know. Anyways, oh, God, no, my phone turned off. They said Kylo has his helmet back, and that it has been put back together with some kind of red adhesive. It looked kind of cool with the red lines going through it. They also talked about Rey's lightsaber and how it's back and has been reforged. They said the reforge is not shown on screen. There's a new droid. His name is Dio, and it's sort of a sidekick to BB-8. It's little and has some sort of cone-shaped head, kind of like a megaphone shape, if you can picture it. Beyond that, it was just a lot of artwork and toy packaging. They mentioned various new planet terrains, but the only one I remember was some kind of jungle planet. And that's really it. That's all he says. Kevin Smith apparently went on set with J.J. Abrams, and all he said is that it looks beautiful, it's enormous, and he cried, which I would too if I was on the set. Even with Last Jedi, which I was not a crazy huge fan of, I would still.
I just want to be on one of these sets.
Yes, that'd be great, right?
Just want to be on one. I don't care which. I mean, even the shittier
God,
ones.
paint me like green and I'll be a tree. You know, do anything. Or put me. I'll I'll run wire. I mean,
I just want to be on set. Yeah.
So that's letters, that's comments, that's Star Wars.
I'm reading I was trying to pull up my tabs.
Yeah.
From home, because I have been reading a bunch of comics this week that I'm into.
What are you reading?
I'm reading Titans, Teen Titans, the Justice League, Doomsday Clock, this book called Saga, and what else?
Oh wait, Comic Saga?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have four issues in there.
Of Saga?
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
It's amazing. Yeah. I'm caught up. They're on a hiatus right now. They do you know the Prince character, the robot character with the television face?
Yeah, sure.
They kill him.
Oh,
he's
spoiler.
Dead. Yeah. Sorry, shut up. Spoiler. They kill him.
Spoiler for a comic I probably will never finish.
I mean, if you only have 4, it's like 50 odd issues.
Oh, it's not issues. I had like the
of the graphic, the solid.
Yeah. For the big things. Are you excited? I kept passing on the subway Mortal Engine posters.
I'm not excited, but I am looking forward to seeing that. It's Peter Jackson. Yeah. It's an epic of Peter Jackson, not unlike your Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And you give that guy an epic and the money to do an epic, he doesn't let down.
Yeah.
At least in recent history, so
they're all pretty good. Like
I love those movies.
I tend to be on the more forgiving side of things.
I love.
I liked Kong or King Kong.
The one with Naomi Watts.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. Most people hate that one.
I don't hate it. It just wasn't good.
I liked all the Hobbit movies.
The Hobbits were fine.
Most people don't like the Hobbit movies.
I think most people don't like the Hobbit movies because they took 4 damn movies to tell.
3.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, 3 Hobbit movies.
But that book is this big.
Yes.
Like
but they took stuff from the
Silmarillion.
Yeah, and Conciliatory, whatever that word is. I'm trying
to. Yes, they kind of mismatched and mangled up some stuff and called it The Hobbit. I just don't. I had issues with them taking 3 movies to tell The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Because The Hobbit is not a 3-movie book.
I don't get why. Because I think the movie's gonna bomb.
Mortal Engines?
Yeah.
I think so too.
And this is a week out.
And I only think it's going to bomb because people don't know that source material.
Yeah, they don't know the source material. They don't also know the movie. The poster in the subway is...
Trailer hasn't been given much either.
Yeah, the trailer's there, but it just has not really popped up, which is strange because it basically looks like Mad Max, but cities.
But yeah, giant...
Driving cities.
Cities, yeah. But Mad Max.
Which sounds amazing.
Dope. Yeah.
But then the poster is just a woman
with her face
with like
covered,
a scarf over her mouth. It's like nothing. It could be anything.
Yeah.
They did this.
It's not the marketing for it is not that great.
No.
But I feel like the movie is going to be kind of dope.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think it's going to go completely under the radar. I don't think it's going to make any money.
It probably won't make the money that they made to make it.
Yeah, I mean worldwide, yes.
Think worldwide it will? Yeah, worldwide probably.
Worldwide it will, sure. And I think that's it. That's all I got to talk about. Thanks to everyone who is listening. We put this up last week. on YouTube. It's a learning curve. We're going to get the podcast thing set up. We're just waiting for another episode to come out. We're going to record another episode, and then we'll put it up on podcasts. It's just a process. You have to get like a host, and you have to put these podcasts onto the host, and then you have to get iTunes to access that host. That's how it works.
I see.
You have to pay that host a monthly fee.
Really? How much?
It's like $15 a month.
I'll split it.
Yeah, maybe longer because ours are very long, and I will not make these shorter. I like to make them 2 hours. I don't care.
Is it 2 hours?
You don't have to listen to it all, you guys. Just put it on.
Just put it on and do some stuff.
Or don't put it on. Whatever you want.
Should we talk about what movie we want to do for the next?
Yeah. So basically, Into the Spider-Verse comes out the 14th. So same with Mortal Engines. We could have done either one of those movies, but that's not going to happen by next Thursday.
Right.
So we have to talk about what movie that we want to do. Or we can leave it up to the comments.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were kind of throwing around the idea of maybe Action Jackson.
Yes.
But
Action Jackson's good. There's some other ones by Peter Jackson, The Frighteners. Did you ever see that with Michael J. Fox?
I did see. Yeah, wait, is that the Ghost movie?
Yes.
Where like Kai McBride's in it, and he played, or like Michael J. plays some sort of like medium or whatever.
Yes.
And Busey, there's a Busey in that movie.
There's a Busey, yeah.
Yeah,
son.
That's a dope ass picture.
That's a dope
The Frightener.
That's
Yes,
a good
yeah,
one.
I remember that.
The other movies that I kind of wrote down as a general list: Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah,
we did two storms.
Yeah.
We could go on to Dolph Lundgren.
I could.
When's the last time you saw Masters of the Universe?
Oh my god, yeah. 10 years, maybe 15.
Yeah, maybe 15 for me. Long time. I used to watch with my brother.
I still remember it pretty. I mean, you had a young Courtney Cox. You had old boy from ER. I forget his name. Was in not ER. No, that's the cat from he was in Star Trek.
Who was?
The love interest, the guy who plays Courtney Cox's boyfriend. He plays Tom Parrish on Star Trek Voyager. He was a Voyager man.
Oh, I don't even remember.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of some other stuff.
That's what I'm saying, but still trapped this memory of mine right here.
Randomly, my brother asked me what good movies that we watched. This is last night when I was at work. Around the ages of 9 to 10, I wrote back Teen Wolf, Monster Squad, Howard the Duck, Batman, The Abyss, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Princess Bride, The Running Man, Overboard.
Yeah.
He said a good one, Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah.
That one's good, right?
Yeah, I actually saw that recently. Yeah, well, a version of Thor.
A non-canon version of Thor. Mighty Ducks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So those are all good suggestions. I also read a very brief article about Punisher Warzone.
Oh, I liked it.
And apparently it has a cult following. I remember watching
it. Does. It didn't do really well in the theaters, but it garnered a sort of fan. Of the Punisher movies done in recent times, because Dolph Lundgren did the OG Punisher movie.
Yes.
Which I liked. I don't know if it still holds up because it's been probably.
We could do all three Punishers. We could do Thomas Jane, we could do Dolph Lundgren, and we could do the new Punisher.
I'm down.
So that's an option.
I'm down.
say we leave it up to whoever comments first.
I think I think there's enough options that we should let the our 50 our audience of 50.
So I would say you can pick from all those movies we just missed. Whoever comments first on the YouTube page. If you pick a movie that we did not pick, we'll consider it. We might also veto it. Or we might not do any movie that anybody picks because we don't have to. We do whatever we want.
We don't. But yeah, we're definitely open to suggestions. Please like, share, comment, get at us with questions, or if you don't like us, tell us that our voices suck. We'd be lying, but
please comment,
but tell us.
Subscribe, send it to people you like, or don't. It doesn't matter. We're just doing it. We're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, I think so. So thanks for listening, and this is what we into.
Oh yeah, wait. Plug us a little more because I gotta pull up.
All right.
I'm almost ready. Okay, now I'm ready. So now plug and then we'll end.
All right. So yeah, like, share, comment. Please comment.
Who are you?
I'm Rob Carmen Robinson.
I'm Lawrence Dial.
And this is what we into.
@gmail.com.
I was born like this, is born like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this, was out you a new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your bed. This that put the kiss to bed. This that I got.
It may not seem like it now, but this is more than just a fight.
Loyalty.